Welcome to the Book Buzz Show with Cheryl, where we dive into the captivating world of books. Here at the Book Buzz Show, we encourage you to make your pages turn with joy and immerse yourself in a magical literary experience. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Book Buzz Show with Cheryl, where we dive into the captivating world of books. Here at the Book Buzz Show, we encourage you to make your pages turn with joy and immerse yourself in a magical literary experience. Enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Book Buzz Show. I'm your host, Cheryl Brooks. And if you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. And if you enjoy the upcoming show, please share it so others can enjoy it as well. Also, if you could please, if you haven't already, like, follow, and subscribe to the show. For those who are new to the Book Buzz Show, we do discuss the book and the characters, so there will be some minor spoilers, but we don't give anything major that will ruin the book experience for you when you read it. In addition to being a live broadcast, the Book Buzz Show is also a podcast, and you can follow us there at the Book Buzz Show with Cheryl, wherever you get your podcast. Also, just to let you know that this episode is being brought to you in partnership with Black Odyssey Media, and that is Black Odyssey Media on the screen. And please make sure to check out their roster of authors. Here are some of the authors on the screen, their book covers to give you an idea. We've talked to a few already this year, so if you go back through previous broadcasts, you can check that out as well as all the other authors that I spoke to so far this year. And tonight we have a great show in store for you. Tonight we have author M Monique on, and we will be talking about her books, Steele Waters. This is book one. Book two, it looks the same. It just says finale on it. So we'll be discussing these two books. Again, that's Steele Waters by M Monique for those who are listening. And those who are watching, that is the book cover on the screen. All right, and without further ado, I'm going to bring on tonight's guest, M Monique, and also my co-host for this evening, Jennifer Copeland. Hello, ladies, and welcome. Oh, you know what? I think I have you on mute.
I got it.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Let's see. Looks like we have a few people in the audience. Okay. Quite a few. Okay. Hi, Yvonne. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, Facebook user. If you want us to know your name, or you can go to the description on this live and just click the link, and it'll give StreamYard permission to show your face. Just FYI. Thank you for joining us, Antoinette. Good evening. Let's see. Myra, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lisa. She said she loves my shirt. And that's my sister. She actually is the one who does my t-shirt. So and it does. It looks amazing, Lisa.
Oh.
Yeah. And Francis, thank you for joining us. It looks like we have Tina. Hi, Tina. She helps me out on the Book Buzz Show for sometimes. And we have somebody saying hello, Jennifer. If you go to the description, you can click the link so we can see who you are. And all right, so we're gonna get right into it because we have two books to discuss. And like I was telling you off camera, I really enjoyed them. And for those who don't know, I spoke to M Monique. It's been I don't know if it's been a couple of years ago now. So if
Mm-hmm.
you go look at our previous broadcast, you can check that one out if you haven't already seen it, where we discussed Blue, Gray, and Kingston.
Right.
So you can check those out. But tonight, again, we're talking about Steele Waters, and so we're talking about Phoenix and Blaze and Deja and
Janelle.
Joelle,
Janelle. Yeah.
Janelle, um, and so many other secondary
Right.
characters. There was so many twists and turns in these two books. I loved it, and I'm a big mystery and
Mhm.
suspense as well as romance, and so we get a little bit of all of that in
Right.
these books. So I was loving that as well.
Right.
Um, let's see. All right. So, M Monique, for those who are new to you, can you give us a little background on your professional writing journey, how you started out?
Oh,
Um,
sure.
okay.
So I'm Monique. It all started with me being nosy, and I literally uh submitted a part of a book I had already written that I've been writing since I was like in high school. I mean, well, the character stuck with me since high school. So a book that I wrote as an adult. Okay, but anyway, I submitted um to a publisher, and that's literally how I started. That's it. Like I start.
So, have you always been writing?
I've always like I made like picture books and like little short stories when I was in high school and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't write my first full length novel until I submitted to a publisher. So,
Okay.
but they were books that I had already started and just never finished. Like for one reason or the other, I would pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down.
Mhm.
And that was just because life, like,
Got in the
life,
way. And you
stuff
know
would
what?
just
I find it
happen.
amazing though, because a lot of I
Mhm.
didn't mean to interrupt you. A lot of authors say that they um when it took them like years to actually publish, like they may have started a
Mhm.
book or a manuscript
Yeah.
years prior, and for whatever reason, sometimes it's self-doubt, sometimes it's like you said, life just
And it's
gets
a
in the
lot
way.
of doubt. Like I was
Hmm.
so nervous. Like the first time I saw a flyer, um, because my publisher is AJ Davidson. So
Okay.
I was like, at the first time she posted a flyer, I wanted to submit, but I was like, no, I ain't ready for that. You know what I'm saying? Even though in my head, I've always wanted to be an author. That's one thing I've always wanted to do my entire life is be an author. I had three things I wanted to be growing up. That was an author,
Hmm.
a nurse, and a analyst on ESPN. Those are my three. Those are my
Okay.
three things, right?
Good
Um,
goals.
I'm a sports fanatic, y'all. Okay, so those are my three things, and I've accomplished one. I have worked in healthcare for 19 years. Yeah, about 19 years. Um, just working like bedside and stuff like that. But you know, I went to get my nursing license, y'all, and that wasn't my path. Apparently,
Okay.
because I got sick and I had to go out of work, so it was like I started really putting effort into writing once I saw AJ post that flyer again. Because I
Okay.
had already been out of work for like 3 months, but it wasn't because I wanted to be. Like my doctor told me I could not go back to work. So that's how that started. Um, and so here I am. Here
Well,
I
I'm
am.
glad that you got that second glimpse of AJ's
Yeah,
posting, and you
I
took that chance.
know.
Um,
Mm, I was so
Now,
scared.
you said you love sports, so are there any plans for any books about sports, or
So
have you
Shot
already
Clock
done?
series is my WNBA esque book
What
series
is
that I
that
did
called?
with AJ Davidson. Shot Clock series, and I did that series with AJ Davidson.
Okay.
Um, it follows. Now I know this is about Steele Waters, but I got to plug Shot Clock because it's the simple fact that I was just talking about this book earlier and how I will think back to scenes in that book and just be dying laughing in my car. Like we wrote some crazy characters, but it follows two sisters who are in the WNBA and their best friend who is a head coach in the WNBA.
Okay.
So it's 3-part series, but they're all out. They've been out. But yeah, that's my WNBA series. I am also doing a baseball um series at some point. But
Oh,
I
I
do
love
want to
that.
just I love to dive into the women's side of things.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
because
at
I
the
was going to
same
say that
time,
WNBA, that's
yeah,
different because usually you
yeah.
see what's about like
hmm
the NBA and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I love sports like ESPN. If they call me, I'm going. Okay, so I know.
Yeah, you putting it out there.
I'm putting it out there. I'm gonna stay
Yes,
putting it out there too. Yep.
Tina is saying that the flyer was a sign for you. Yes, it was.
You know
Just
what? I was so nervous about it, and in my head, I think I'm a good writer. Like I don't. I just think I like to tell stories. I like to
hmm.
tell stories, and but that doesn't mean it's always the perception of the reader may not be mine. So
Right.
it may be good to me and it not be good to everybody else, which in general, that's how it is when you're offering your works to people. Like they
Right.
can either
Right.
love it or hate it or be in between, you know. So I was so nervous about it, but y'all, I thought that would get better. It doesn't. I'm nervous for every single book as if it's my first one. And I thank God for that for in a
Right.
sense because it keeps me humble. Like I'm not that person who, oh yeah, they gon' everybody gonna like this. I'm just not that author. Like I really know
And that's
I'm
a
just
good
not that
thing
person.
because as a reader, I know that it's subjective. So everything, and
Yes,
even though I have if I have authors that I love their work, every
mm,
book doesn't hit me the same. So
exactly.
I might love one
Exactly.
more than the other one. So
Mhm.
it's
Yep.
just how
And
it
I
is.
have that. Like I'm human. I'm just down to earth like that. Like I just do not my horse is not up there. Like I ain't up there with none of that. But I'm thankful for that though, because when I wake up in the morning,
Hmm.
I'm not thinking about, anything other than a book I'm writing on. Like I'm not thinking about, oh, you don't need to do anything today, da 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 da. No, I'll be so stressed out if I cannot write. Like if I
Okay.
go days without writing, which I do rest sometimes because mental exhaustion has gotten me a few times after writing books. So I stopped doing that where I'm skipping right to the next one and right to the next one. I
Right.
learned to pace myself.
And
I'm
that's
a
important
lupus,
in whatever you do.
yeah, because I have lupus and I'm
Mhm.
not like, you
Oh, do
know,
you? Okay.
I'm not like, I can't work myself like that. Like I gotta, you know,
Yeah, you got to
pace
take care
myself.
of yourself. Yeah.
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 So yeah,
And not get caught up in that grind so much. Yeah,
right,
but I get it.
right,
Now
right.
what genre would how would you classify your books as far as a genre?
So I would just classify myself as urban fiction. Okay, so just like Steele Waters was mystery,
Hmm.
suspense. I did have someone leave a review, and I kind of chuckled because I'm like, do they not look at the genre it's in? Like, I know your people are used to me probably writing romance, and there were romantic elements in Steele
Right.
Waters, but it's literally in the genre of mystery, suspense, and thriller. So it wasn't so heavily inundated with romance,
Hmm.
but the story itself is still centered around people falling in love and
Right. You still get
facing some
that.
issues. So yeah,
And I
so
noticed that it was more because I read a lot of mysteries, read
mhm,
a lot of suspense and
mhm.
thrillers, and I felt that. But you still also,
Yeah, I
um,
slid it in there.
I still got the romance in there too. So
Yeah,
it was all of the
yeah,
above.
yeah.
Um,
I'm a romantic suspense um reader. I love to read romantic suspense.
okay,
I love Maureen Smith and
me too. Yes.
yes, like her books, oh my goodness. I read those before I became an author. Like this was years and years
Me too.
and
Yep.
years ago.
I've
Like,
been reading her
but
a
she
long
made me fall
time.
in love with romantic suspense by Black authors. Okay, because mind you, I'm just being honest. It was, them people most of the time because that's all I could find in the store.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, she made me fall in love with black men in romantic suspense.
Yes,
And it's just,
can she raise
yeah,
some black men? I'm
yeah.
telling you. If you haven't read her Wolfpack series, you have to read her
I,
Wolfpack
I
series.
love
Oh
the
my
Wolfpack
Yeah.
series. Oh,
Yes,
listen,
Lord.
I'm
yeah.
telling you, I'm telling you. Listen,
Oh
we here,
man.
we here. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I got them on my bookshelf actually.
Okay. Okay. Now when
Yeah.
you're deep in writing mode, what does a typical day look like for you?
If I'm being completely honest, it's completely chaotic. I might write 2 hours out of my day. I have three kids that are all
Mhm.
11 and under. Um, I'm a single parent at that. I'm home all day. Like writing is my full time job.
Oh, it is okay.
Um, but I don't have time. Like I literally have to make time to write. And I know that sounds crazy because I'm home all day, but it's just so much. Like I drop my kids off at school, and it seems like as soon as I sit down, it's time to pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to make sure they did what they supposed to do. And then by the time I sit down to write, it's 6 o'clock.
Right.
So I get a couple of hours in. Only on those days when I truly have nothing to do. I have a daughter that's autistic and has some health issues, so it's always back and forth, and that's the day. I
Say
don't.
like you
I'm
said,
just being
life.
honest. I don't have a system. I want to adopt a system, but the system never adopts itself to me. I'm always
Mm-hmm.
trying to get my life. Every day I'm trying to get my life together, y'all. Okay, I just want y'all to
So
know
you
that.
get it in when you can. I believe me, I
Right. I'm just
understand.
being completely honest. I don't have. I wish I did, but
Hey,
yeah,
whatever works, whatever
I
works.
still got to grow up a little bit in that department. But yeah.
But I understand because even with the show, I'm trying to get a better system in place because I had to take a step back because I was like
Mm,
mentally exhausted. But
yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I feel you on that.
Hmm.
Now, what do you wish you had known when you first started out that you know now? Probably a lot,
Whew.
huh?
To be completely honest, I can only speak for myself, okay, and the type of person that I am. This is not intended to speak on anybody else except M Monique and what my
Hmm.
experience has been. Sometimes you have to, not sometimes, all the time, you have to recognize God at work, okay? He put me with somebody who literally allows me to have my own freedom of thought
Hmm.
process and all this kind of stuff. And she's taught me like majority of the things I know industry wise, I learned from her. She's a good mentor. Um, if I have any questions, she will answer them. So I can't say that I don't I there's some things I don't know because if I don't, I just say, hey, what do I need to do with this? And she'll tell me. Like
Mm.
I just want to write a book. I don't want to deal with nothing else. Like
All that other
I just
stuff.
want I just want to write a book. Like just let me write the book and I'll let you do everything else. Um
But that's
but when I
important though to
say
have
that
that
it's not,
support because they're yeah.
yeah, I just really know that the type of person I am, he had to give me somebody who would be um willing to
To
um
share.
yeah, be like that one because otherwise I'll be a hot mess.
and
But
that's so important because a lot of people don't have that person or that give
Mhm,
you some insight, and that's with
mhm,
writing or with anything.
right. That's
Um,
just what exactly like
yeah,
imagine going on a job and your manager um you ask the manager for helping it. Oh, I can't help you. Figure it
right,
out.
right,
Like you know
right.
what I'm saying? Like that's
They
how they rise
throw
up.
you in the deep end and say swim. Yep,
Mhm.
I
And
get
I've
it.
been
But
placed in that position a lot in the working industry. So I
mhm,
know
I have
that's
to.
how it is. Like I'm speaking from
Me
experience,
too.
like
Hmm.
winging it. But no, he literally it's been like even if you don't always agree too, like that's another thing, how you can even still know that it's something that's meant, because even when y'all disagree, it's never to the point where ties are severed. Like it's just not like
Right.
that. It's just
Because
like
it's in
we come to
love.
an
It's all in love.
understanding.
Right.
Right. It's just all just, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So yeah, I don't think right now I'm not trying to do, trying to stay in my own lane. I just stay in my own lane and write books. So yeah.
I hear you on that. Excuse me, I have a cough, so I'm coughing. So if
Oh,
I
it's
y'all
fine.
see me coughing, just keep it going. But we have a question. Myra wants to know, how long does it take you to write a book typically?
So it depends. Still Waters took, okay, so let me explain Still Waters, because I know this was a lot of people's gripe about it, is that it took too long to get part two.
Uh,
The first part came out in September. I wrote the first part in, so Still Waters actually was started the summer before last. So this book was started in 2022.
okay.
Summer of 2022. But I only had like a couple of chapters written. And I kind of slowly worked at it over time. But then when I decided to put my energy into finishing it, because I knew it was going to be a heavy book, the first part, it took me about 4 weeks to write the first part. Um, and then I had other obligations like my Christmas book release, and because when you're under a publisher, if you sign up to do your part in a group project, you fulfill that project, you know. So I decided to go ahead and fulfill those two that I said I would, which was the Widow Scars and Kidnapped by a Snowman. So I put Still Waters essentially on pause while I finished those two books. And then I started back on Still Waters. So that took me about 4 weeks to write. Um, a long 4 weeks, like, but normally my novellas take about a week and a half, 2 weeks, depending on how much time I have. Like I said, I only write a couple hours a day. Um,
Now, do you
yeah.
consider
So
these to be novellas? Because they seem pretty. How many? What was the page
no,
count on it? Oh, okay.
mm-mm. Still Waters is, both
Mm-hmm.
books are full, and
I'm
part
about to
one I
say,
think
yeah.
was, yeah, 87K, and I think the second part was like 78. So yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
And
they're
that's pretty
pretty
good.
thick,
You
and I
wrote them in
probably
four
I think
weeks,
I'm
though.
hmm,
I said that's pretty. That's really good. You wrote it in 4 weeks. Completed it in 4 weeks.
yeah. I mean, it took I did a lot of sprinting writing to get it done. But like I said, I had already started it. Like Still Waters isn't something that I just conceived like in a day. Like it was when I first had the thought to do Still Waters, I slowly over that week just kept building on what the initial thought was, which was this man finding this woman in the woods on his property. You know what I'm saying?
So that was
But
the initial. That
the
was your initial thought.
foundation, yeah, the foundation was I want to write a book about an all black town.
Mm,
Um, and the first thought that popped into my head was her getting lost in the woods.
okay.
Um, that's how it started. That was the first couple thoughts I had about the book. So um, I just went with it from there. So
I'm still
um,
here. I'm just going.
you're fine. So many of my books are like that. Like many of my books have already been started. Um, I just picked back up where I left off. And newer books like my Snowman book was off the fly. You know, I just knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted the girl to be kidnapped. I knew, like, I was so happy to write that book. And I'm like, I'm maybe a little bit toxic writing this kind of craziness. Like, but I loved writing that. But Still Waters has been with me for since the summer of 2022. So
So
yeah.
even though it just came, the second one just
Mhm.
came out not too long ago. This has
Mhm.
been a
Yep.
labor of love, basically. So
Yep.
even though it took you a minute to get the part two
Mhm.
out,
Mhm.
it was excellent. I have to tell you, it
Thank
was
you.
Great job. So it was worth the wait. Well, I didn't wait because I like I said, I
Right,
did it read it at the
right,
right time because I
right,
was able to read back to
right,
back.
right.
But I still understand, life happens and you got other obligations and stuff. Um, so I hate that you had to deal with that. I know it wasn't fun.
Listen, I had a kid in
Um,
the hospital at the time. It was just
oh
crazy.
no.
These last few months was crazy. Um,
Tina is saying that's how we grow as people, sharing what
mhm.
we know with others, right?
Listen, I don't gatekeep. I'm not.
Mm,
I have people who have come in my inbox asking me questions, and I'm not that person that be like, "Oh, I don't know." If I don't have the answer, I'm going to send you to the person that I know has the answer. Like
Hmm.
that's how I
mm,
was when I used to work as a medical assistant
Hmm.
because I worked under great doctors who taught me a lot about medicine.
Right.
I passed that type of, like freedom of letting people know things. I passed that on. So if somebody asks me a question, y'all, it's funny, but people used to always come ask me, like, Marquita, I know you know the answer to this. My name is Marquita. I know you know this question. Can you please tell me how to do such and such? And I'll show them how to do it. So if they came to me and asked me something and I didn't know, it's like, but I can show you where to go to
Right.
get it. I can tell you who can help you. Yeah, I'm just not that person that's like, oh no,
Yeah, I'm not like that either.
know the
Never have
answer, but I
been.
can't help
Yeah.
you out. No, that's not me. That's
Yeah,
not
never
me.
have. And then you block
Yeah.
your blessings that way when you try to
Childhood. Yep.
uh you got to
Yeah.
you are not and
Because what
nothing
is
is
it going
being
to hurt
taken
me by
away. That's
helping
what I'm
you?
saying. Yeah, nothing is taken away
What
from you by
what
helping somebody else.
why is me why would me telling you how to be how to do s- step A through Z,
Right.
what is that going to do to hurt me?
Hmm. I agree. And unfortunately, all of us don't feel that way, but
No.
it is what
Mm-mm.
it is.
Right.
Now, what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out on their writing journey?
Stay true to yourself. Um, One thing about me before I became an author, I was an avid reader. Okay. Y'all cannot possibly understand how hard it is for me not to read. Okay. But
Oh, you can't
because
read while
I
you write?
I to maintain my authenticity, I don't read any author's work.
Oh my
Not while I'm
goodness.
not while I'm in the middle of writing and not even
Oh,
when I
like,
finish the book. So the only book, and I'm just being honest, I have all of Siobhan Latrice's books. I love Siobhan Latrice, but I don't, I cannot open it because in good conscience, I feel like I don't want to even think somebody thinks I'm mimicking anything that they did.
mm,
Um,
that's a shame, though.
it
That
is,
you,
but
mm,
just
that
to
is a
just to
shame.
maintain my own authenticity, I don't read any author's work while I'm actively writing. So the only book that I did read in this time in these last few years was an Antoinette Sherrill book,
Hmm.
her paranormal. Um and I've
Oh, I didn't
read
know
I
she
think a
did
couple of others.
paranormal.
And I just think that as an avid reader, it's hard for me not to read, but at the same time, when I do get breaks, I will go and read the books that I have, like Siobhan Latrice. Like
Hmm.
I'll pick up her books and read. But
So
I would
just
just
not
say
when
stay
you're
true to
not when you're
yourself.
acting, not
Right.
when you're actively right.
Right.
Because I have heard other authors too. Some say that
Mhm.
it doesn't bother them at all; they can still read
Mhm.
mm.
whatever. But I know some authors say that they still read, but they don't read in the same genre that they write. They
Right.
read. They
Mhm.
usually
I just
read something separate.
I think that like if I need inspiration, right? Let's
Hmm.
say I'm in a book like Steele Waters and I need something to help me get over maybe if I'm a couple of days and I feel like I'm not feeling a part of a scene or something like that, I'll go read one of my old books just to say, you wrote this, you can write that. Like calm down.
Okay.
Calm
Hmm.
yourself down and move past this. Um but I do there's a lot of authors, and when I mean a lot, there's a lot of authors. I have their books purchased. I have all this stuff and I just haven't read because I'm always writing. Like even if
Hmm.
I take a week off, I may read one of my previous books just to give myself inspiration. And that's not because I feel like that about myself. It's like because I feel like if I need inspiration, I need to dig in my own self and look
Mm-hmm.
for it. But
I
there's so
get
many
that.
good authors out here, and I want to read everybody's book so bad. And when I take breaks, that's what I do. Otherwise, I just don't. So if you're newly coming into this, I would just encourage you to stay true to yourself. One thing about my writing style, even if I write a different genre, like I did mystery,
Mm-hmm.
um, I still stayed true to M Monique. I still gave, a lot of my characters what I feel like I would give. But I also want people to know that I don't like being in a box. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right. And I think you
I,
you
I just want to
accomplished
write
that.
whatever comes to me.
Because I felt I still got the flavor of
Mhm,
some of your books that I read when we talked before, but I
mhm.
also felt like um, that you were branching out a little bit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could see the growth as
right.
well. So I appreciated that. We have a
Yeah.
couple of questions in the audience.
Okay.
Priscilla is asking, "How are you working? Are you working on anything right now?"
I am. So August is supposed to be next, right? He is the follow up to Kingston. I know. I'm so in love with him, but I'm working on August, right? But August is also a little heavy for the simple reason he is in a redemption state. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
But August book is getting worked on right now, and I'm also working on a book called The Hood Flower Girl. I'm sorry. Um, it's a
There's got to be
romance.
some hood. I
It is
love
a
that.
romance. But it's beautiful. The Hood Flower Girl. Okay, I'm working on that. It is a novella that is a standalone. However, there is a
Okay.
second part for for another person that's in the book. So
Okay.
their story is gonna begin and end, and then it's gonna be just like how my other series are. Like you can read them
Mm,
apart together, like you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying, that type of thing.
mm,
So
Sounds
yeah.
good. I can't wait.
mm.
Antoinette is asking, does the character or the storyline come first while you're writing?
Ooh, so look, the storyline always comes first, and let me explain why.
Mm.
So when Steele Waters came to my mind, and I thought about this town that I want to write all Black characters,
Hmm.
um, I already had the name Phoenix. Okay, I immediately thought of fire names,
Okay.
and Phoenix was the first name that really stuck to me. Um, and then as I Google a lot of stuff, I'm like names that mean fire or something like that. And then
When you said
when I
okay.
saw the name Blaze, I said, I'm
Hmm.
taking it because I
I
have a
love that name.
cousin. I love it. My cousin, Janelle, her name is Janelle. Her children's dad's name is Blaze.
Okay.
Um, and he unfortunately was unalive a couple of years ago. And before I wrote Still Waters, I asked her, I said, would you mind if I use the name Blaze in the book? And she was like, no. I said, but this is the thing, no. And she was like, what? I said, I'm gonna use Janelle too.
Oh, I love
And she
that.
was like, oh my goodness. I said, yeah. I said, because I really feel like I can get their relationship. Because I know what my cousin and Blaze's relationship was. And I'm like, it just worked out perfect. I thought I was not gonna like Blaze, to be honest. Um, but I knew I wanted him to be the one who had to be broken all the way down just to be built back
Hmm.
up, you know. And Janelle was perfect for him, literally in real life, you
Yes,
know. So
I love them
yeah,
together. I actually
yeah.
I love Phoenix and Deja too, but I
Hmm.
really enjoy Blaze and Janelle. And
Hmm.
um, okay, so we're gonna get into the characters but now as far as the characters, did you have any
Hmm.
kind of inspiration as far as who did you have pictured as far as their looks,
Yes.
any celebrity characters or anything like
So
that?
let me explain why I stopped sharing character visuals, okay?
Why?
Um, because I had someone tag a person who I used as a character visual one time. Now, mind you, this person is all over social media, Instagram, Pinterest, all these places, right? So you share them as character inspiration. Well, he wasn't happy with that at all. And he wanted
What?
Mhm. Compensation for sharing his photo. So that was 2.5 years ago, and I don't share, like, I will, if I do in my book group, I tell them it's solely for inspiration, or
Mm-hmm.
don't share it outside the group, because somebody tagged him and he was not
I
happy.
have never heard
He
anything
wasn't
so
happy.
crazy in my. Oh my! Just from you
So
saying
yeah, I
that
don't
this
do that no
person was an
more.
inspiration for a character.
Yeah.
Oh
And I'm like, it's just for a book. But anyway, yeah. Girl, I ain't never had nobody
Well,
manager reached out, his manager reached out and was like, hey,
oh
yeah,
my
I'm so
goodness,
serious. Like,
that
I'm like,
is
it's a book.
crazy to me.
But but since then I just keep my character visuals to myself, unless somebody comes in my inbox and say, hey, do you have character
Yeah.
visuals for such and such? And I'll send it to them. But otherwise I try not to post it on social media, because even if their pictures are all over the place, some of them do care if you're sharing their photo. Like, some people don't care. You think, never mind, I ain't gonna get on my soapbox. But anyway, yeah, some people don't care.
Oh, so this was the actual
But
this wasn't like a celebrity. This was like just somebody that was on.
he actually is. He is. In his own right, he is.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, I
Mhm,
can't see a celebrity doing that,
mhm.
but
No, he's yeah. So yeah, yeah.
because they public, it's public domain. They're out there.
Right,
But anyway,
right, right.
but I'm sorry that you had that experience too. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's
it's all
crazy.
good.
She said, "What inspires your character development?"
um.
I mean, Tina says this, not she.
So y'all gonna laugh at me. I
What?
always write a intimate scene first.
Oh, really? Okay.
It helps me understand their chemistry. Um, the first scene I wrote for Phoenix and Deja was when he rescued her.
Okay.
Um, it wasn't what led up to her being rescued. It was him actually in their first encounter, when she woke
After that, yeah.
when she was laying in his bed
Right.
talking. That was their first encounter. That helped me build on their chemistry. Blaze and Janelle, I wrote their first. The first thing I wrote for them was when um, the tornado happens.
And that's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
That was such a
So
okay.
they
We're
literally
gonna get into that
argued.
though.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay, so and Antoinette is saying authentic relationship example. That is good. She's talking about you using
Yeah.
your cousin and
Yeah. Yeah.
deceased
So
cousin.
that's how I build on them, because I feel like once I know their chemistry, it's better for me to write them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's better for me to let them talk, and I sleep on my characters. I've said that several times. Like, I go to sleep thinking about their scenes and how they're going to interact with each other. I don't just sit down and type. I have to build my scene in my head and then go type.
Mm-hmm.
That way I'm not stuck, or I don't feel stuck. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good. Okay, I like
Yeah.
that's a good suggestion for somebody too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're gonna get into the book a little bit and the characters. Okay, so I like that we actually got Phoenix and his siblings actually we got a glimpse of them actually practicing law. So you didn't just say
Right.
they're lawyers and then that
Right.
was it. So how was that? Did you do any research as far
Man,
as
listen. It was so much research. And of course, it's fiction, so you can embellish or you can take away, add. It didn't have to be perfect, but I just knew that I wanted them to still people to still see them in their element, right?
mm-hmm,
So sports, I can talk about all day long, but law, no, no.
mm-hmm,
I made phone calls. I did a lot of research on just general things, like, and one lawyer that I spoke to was very, very helpful, and she just told me, listen, she asked me, she said, are you writing fiction? I said yes. And she said, listen, um there's no right way to law. You write it, as long as it's fiction. Who's going to go Google what you said? I said, you know what, you right. Who gonna go
mm-hmm.
Google? Just like with the process of a child being taken out of the home and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
there is no way I know exactly what takes place, because of course it's never the same situation.
Right.
It's never the same
And it will be different in each
process.
state, different
Right.
states will
And
be
it's
different.
different
Yeah.
states. And I just said, you know what, Keita, just tell the story. let them get a glimpse into what they do and how
Right.
things go. But I didn't have to go in depth. Like I'm not a lawyer. I couldn't tell you right now
And
nothing they got to do.
I think you did. I think you
But
did just enough to
mhm,
make it authentic. Because I read legal
yeah,
suspense, legal
mhm,
romantic suspense as well,
mhm.
and they do go really deep into
Yeah,
it. So
I
with
did
that,
not
they
do. I was
yeah.
not going
So
to do that. I don't,
but I
and I told myself I wasn't going to stress myself with that side of it.
mhm.
Um,
And it wasn't
Blaze had a
necessary to
tough
the story.
story.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think it was
Blaze
necessary.
had a tough story. To write. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Finding out what he found out. And then everything with Noni. So it was like, just tell the story. Just tell the story.
And
So
you did
yeah.
it well, in my opinion.
Thank
So
you.
you did it, and like I said, I read a lot of that too. So I think you
Mhm.
did just enough to,
Thank you.
make it authentic to the
Hmm.
story. I also loved how Phoenix, he was like this. Everybody considered him like a mean mugger, and they basically stayed out of his way. He had a
Uh-huh.
whole town staying out of his way when. So I loved how when he met Deja,
Yeah.
his softer, loving side came
Right.
out from
Right.
the beginning,
Right.
actually.
Right. And it's funny because Phoenix, he still stayed true to himself the whole book. I feel like I still
Yeah.
made him be that way. He learned how to tone it down some, like calm down. You don't have to be like this all the time.
Hmm.
Um, but he was just like he didn't play with Blaze. Like that's his brother, and he still didn't play with him. Like I think one of my favorite scenes was when Blaze showed up to tell him he had a son.
Oh yeah.
And he said
Yeah.
he wanted to make sure
He
the
said
safety
he
was
had
off.
his. He just made sure his safety was up just in case.
When I
they
see
knew.
y'all laugh
They
so
knew not
hard
to. They
like
knew
that
not to play
scene.
with their brother. That's true.
I
Yeah.
said Blaze has no sense, but he respected Phoenix so much. Like,
Right.
but he knew Phoenix was not gonna steer him wrong. He knew Phoenix, even if he went off, that's still my brother. I know he mean
Hmm.
well, but man, that man said he had to make sure
Yeah,
the
he
safety
Blake.
was
They had a few moments in there that cracked me up, but
oh.
I love the relationship too because I love strong family bonds, and
Mhm.
we definitely got
Mhm.
that in this. And I also love strong friendship bonds, and I
Yeah.
love the relationship between Deja and her friend Janelle.
Mhm.
Um, love that.
I love
Um,
Deja for Janelle because Janelle, she she didn't even really she still maintained that true way about herself. She just opened up a little more. She still was that sheltered person.
yeah,
In just the way she dealt with her family. Like she's did her best to respect her mom and her dad. Like she did her best to
right,
respect her sister.
right,
But it had nothing to do with Deja in the sense of, she was just tired of dealing with it. Like,
right.
so, but Deja just made her see, like, there's life outside of that place that you knew.
And she
Um,
gave her a safe space
yeah, right,
when she needed it, and she knew
right,
that she could count on her, which
right,
I love too.
right.
And then because and then Blaze ended up being after her, even though
Mhm.
they had
Right,
basically they had a long road ahead of them though before
right,
they got to that point.
right,
Um,
right.
but Jennifer, what was one of your favorites? Because we always do our favorite scene, our
Oh,
most heartfelt and standout moments, stuff like that. What was your favorite? One of favorite scene for you, Jennifer?
One of my favorite scenes when Blaze went and beat that behind.
you put him to the screen
That's one
door.
of that's one of mine too.
That screen door scene.
And I said
Yes.
that over here. I said Blaze was not playing with that screen door.
And then look, y'all, the amount of tears I cried laughing when he chased after that man when he tried to run.
Oh my gosh. Now he at first though he didn't seem intimidated. He's
Yeah,
he stood his
he
ground,
held
but
his own, but boy, when he took off running off that porch, Blaze took off right behind him. Like
but
that man is scared.
the whole scene, you did a great job because it was intense, but it also was funny because the father came
Yeah,
to the door with his gun, like what's going on here, But It was just,
It
oh
was
man,
so funny.
it was a great scene. That's one of mine too. Um, and I also loved. Let's see. Um, I love this was a romantic moment for me when
Uh-huh.
Deja's father was ill and having surgery, and Phoenix.
Hmm.
This was early on in
Yeah.
their relationship too. He
Yeah.
knew that this was somebody that he wanted long term, and he dropped
Right.
everything and left town to support
Right.
her. So that was
Right.
a good romantic moment.
That
I
was one
thought.
of my favorite scenes because um it showed that he was serious about her.
Yes.
And it even showed his people that he was serious about her. Because even like a Mel and a Mod, they had his back when it came to Deja.
Yeah.
Um,
That was some
and
funny stuff too.
okay, so funny story. They have a book. Okay, but anyway, let's move on. Yeah. Now, how
Oh
did I
yeah,
think of
they
a
So
do,
you
storyline
and
and
with
you
I
two
need to
need
of
to
read
them
it,
read it.
Cheryl.
Huh?
before the brothers is crazy to me? But yeah, I love those two men right there. Well, yeah, go.
Okay, so I have to go. I have to read that.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. Okay, so also another romantic moment for me
Mhm.
was Blaze surprising Janelle with her own Phantom because she kept, for those in the
Yes.
audience, just so you know, Janelle kept telling Blaze how much
Hmm.
she wanted his car from the,
Hmm.
and
And he bought
so
her on.
he surprised her with her own.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So I thought that
That
was
was one of my favorite scenes too. I liked when he made it light of it and said, if he had been laying across the back seat. I'm like, Blaze has no chill. Like he is hilarious, but
yes,
he was
yes,
serious,
yes,
but
yes.
he was the the lightheartedness in the book. I think their relationship was so tense with
Hmm.
everything he was going through that he had to be like this person. That's why when I gave his funnier side just to make him be this sad person, like, as
Right.
it goes on, because dealing with Lauren,
Hmm.
um, and finding out he had a son, that broke him all the way down. Then his best friend died, like it just broke him all the way
Yeah,
down.
he had a
So,
lot of stuff that was
hmm
going on, and he showed a lot of growth within
hmm
those
right.
two books too. Because in the
Hmm.
beginning, that's one of the things that
Hmm.
made Janelle not want to take a chance on him
Right,
because he was so arrogant and
right,
this player.
very,
So she didn't take him serious,
right,
even though she was attracted to him.
right,
Um,
right.
so he had a lot of growth in over the two books too.
Hmm.
Um, and I like you mentioned Blaze and Janelle, the aftermath of the tornado where he
Hmm.
kept her talking so she wouldn't
Right,
panic.
right,
I love that. That
right.
was one of the
I
heartfelt
love
moments
that.
for me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
What about you, Jennifer? As far as your heartfelt?
Um, when they came to get Nani,
Hmm.
and
Yeah. Ooh.
Phoenix prayed. Oh my God,
Ooh.
I cried.
Yeah.
I love that too. I love
I
Listen,
cr-
that.
I
I
cried.
still get chills from that because can you imagine this big man? Like, I wish a man would pray for my kids.
Hmm. I love. Yeah, I love that
You know
scene.
what I'm saying?
And that
Like,
he touched her.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah,
Loved it, loved it. You
yeah.
all, whoever hasn't seen read the book yet, the two books,
Mm.
make sure to get it. You will love it. If you love romance, if you love mystery, if you love suspense, if you love strong family bonds, if you love strong friendship bonds, you will love Still Waters. Now, I love another thing. I love of a story that includes a dog. So when you brought
Yeah.
Coco in. Man, you had me. I'm like, oh my
Listen,
gosh, I love Coco.
I like Coco too because I'm like, man, I was trying to when Phoenix did that. So when he did that, it's just knowing, okay, what can I do to covertly, help her feel protected.
Right, right.
Um, he put the security cameras up and all that, and he brought the dog. I'm like, yeah, no, we're gonna add a dog because yeah, he didn't want her to be afraid. He knew that she had been chased by dogs, so he
Right,
wanted to, what I'm saying, get her out of that fear. And that
right.
was his way of, opening that door back up to where she wasn't afraid like that anymore. Um, he
Loved it,
kind of
loved
eased
it.
it on her. Mm-hmm.
And then even Janelle, the dog,
Mm-hmm.
she loved the dog too. Now one of the funny lighthearted moments, and I say best line
Mhm.
for the book was when Deja had been okay. Now she in the beginning she kept having a lot of these like insecurities and
Mhm.
self doubt,
Right.
and the scene in the office with the prosecutor. She's a gorgeous
Yeah.
woman, and
Mhm.
just from her being in the office with
Yeah.
Phoenix, even though Phoenix said we never had any kind of relationship,
Yeah.
she felt insecure, like she
Right.
wasn't enough. So she let all
Right.
of that get
Right.
in her
Build up
head.
in her mind,
Yeah, so
overthinking.
so
Mhm.
she started ignoring his calls and stuff. And this scene when her and Janelle are at the restaurant and Phoenix shows up and he walks over and he plucks the phone out of out of Deja's hand and he says, he said, "You need a new phone, baby." He said, he said, "We can easily handle that." I guess he's saying that's the only reason that you should not be, taking
Yes.
my call. Something got to be wrong with this phone. But just the whole scene, the way you did it, and then for Blaze also to come in after
Come
him
in.
and make a beeline to Janelle after
Yeah.
Janelle said she didn't want to see him anymore. So they both was tag teaming them.
Yes. Mhm. Those
I
brothers,
loved it.
man. It
I
was
loved it.
funny. I had like when adding those moments like that, like for one thing, Phoenix is not a funny. He doesn't give funny,
Right.
but his serious, dry humor
Yes.
is
Because
is
he was
so
serious.
funny
He
to
was
me.
very serious. And that what made it
Yeah.
funny. Yes. Oh, I loved it. What about you, Jennifer?
Yeah, that was my favorite. That was one too. And then when he laid that speech on her about how he was all
Oh,
about her
yes.
and just
Uh-huh.
wanted to be with her,
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Yeah, go,
Yeah.
Daddy, plays."
Yeah. And
I get,
wait
I
a
mean,
minute, wait a
Daddy
minute.
Phoenix.
Yeah. And
I
then with
said,
Phoenix,
"Go
he also,
ahead."
and I also loved when he told her, I told you that, there's no other woman for me. I only see
Mhm.
you. He said,
Mhm.
once we, you know, what was the line? Basically, he said, once we figure something out and we settle
Mhm.
something, let's not keep
Let's
revisiting
just
it
don't
over and
revisit it.
over.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
Right,
revisit it.
right.
Mhm.
I love that
That's
too.
right. That's
Um,
right.
one of the what the F moments for me was uh Janelle's parents. I wanted to strangle them and her sister. I'm telling you.
Listen, when
Uh,
she beat that girl up in the kitchen,
oh my goodness.
because at first I didn't have her and her sister fighting, but I felt like it was warranted.
Yeah,
Um,
it definitely was warranted. Yeah.
It
because
was.
But for the
yeah, the
mother to
sister
say
was
what
just
she
messing.
said though,
Hmm.
telling the one sister to beat the other sister.
Yeah, the mama.
I-
Hmm.
yeah, is she telling
Yeah, she was
Kirsten,
crazy.
is that her name,
She
Kirsten,
was
to
crazy.
but
All
okay, now
because
you have
this
to tell
girl
me
didn't
this.
want to be. Hmm.
Blaze, he intimated that there was something going on. He said, if you keep
Yeah,
treating her like this, I'm gonna put it on
right,
blast. But you never
right.
did you never really
Mm-mm.
said what it was,
Purposely.
right?
Purposely.
Okay. 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 What
Purposely. Yeah.
happened?
So
Oh,
remember, so Lil has a book. So I know a lot of people also were like, why did the book just end like that? We didn't get a wedding, we didn't get babies or nothing. The part of mystery is you leave the door open
mhm.
because then there's other things to follow. Like if I would have gave babies in the wedding, it would have been too final for me. I
Yeah.
wanted it. I'm revisiting Crestview Waters and Crestview Woods, so I had to leave the door open.
Okay.
So that's my
And
way of
I
leaving the door
forgot you
open.
said that the
Yeah,
sister is getting her
yeah,
story, so it's an
mhm,
overarching
yeah,
art. Okay.
right.
Hey, Midnight, thank you for joining us. Midnight, if you haven't read Steele Waters, make sure you get it. She's another avid reader too, and she has her own
Okay.
show, Midnight Ace Book Bar. But
Mhm.
yeah, loved it, M Monique, and just like the last time, and I'm so happy to hear that we're gonna revisit the world of Kingston
Yes.
and Blue and
That's a
Gray.
whole town that's got plenty of stuff going on. I know I want to do the Detective Warren. I know I want him a book. And
Okay.
also the other one, Parker. Yeah, I want him a book. Like this is not a town that I only wrote about once. I want to
Oh,
like
you want to
many
keep
of
it?
my mystery
Okay.
novels I believe will be based in this area. So
And that's a good
um
idea too.
yeah,
Just
Mm.
keep this is
yeah.
gonna be like your world
I know
for a while.
that just built this world for just this purpose.
Midnight
So
said she's
yeah,
gonna check it out.
thank
Now
you.
another standout moment for me, and we have to talk about a crazo. It was, but I have to tell you, in the beginning, I felt sorry for Lauren
Uh-huh.
until she started trying to manipulate Blaze.
Right.
Now,
Right.
when she kept trying to manipulate Blaze, that's when I was
Right.
like, okay, side-eyeing her, like, okay, something else is going on with this
Right.
crazy old
Right.
woman.
Right.
And I got it. I figured that she wanted him or something for herself
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't like seeing him with Janelle.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you,
She
you
was
wrote that
serious
scene because
about somebody. She
that
couldn't
woman
handle it.
was nuts.
Yeah, she was very nuts. And initially, I was going to leave her alive. Initially, I was going to leave the best friend alive. But in this story, I felt like to remain true to the story,
Hmm.
there had to be some drama.
Right.
And the mama,
You definitely had
Derek's
some twists and
mom,
turns. Yeah.
even had her own little side like thoughts
Right.
going on to where,
Right.
she
She was playing
she
behind the
didn't
scenes
like
that
she
we
didn't
didn't
even say
even know.
anything when she knew the girl couldn't have when she knew her son couldn't have kids.
Right.
She didn't even, what I'm saying? That was one clue that, Blaze kind of did look at it weird, like why she wouldn't say, like why you
Right.
say
Right.
anything,
Right.
like, and even Phoenix brought it to her attention when he went to see her, so that Blaze could go to the funeral. He asked her like,
Hmm.
if you felt like you didn't love him or whatever, why didn't you why didn't you say anything when you could have?
Right.
You could have blown this whole case, and he didn't. So.
Yeah, I like the way the way things unfolded and
Mhm.
unraveled. Because I wasn't expecting that with Miss Gloria, but the
Mhm.
way she did her thing too,
Mhm.
and now, but we won't give it away. But when Janelle left Blaze,
Mhm.
after she found out about when
Yeah.
Lauren came and just
Right.
blew everything out the water,
Right. Right.
um, and then I didn't understand her well in the way I did. She
Mhm.
went back to her parents who
Yeah.
was basically abusive.
Mhm.
They were toxic.
Yep.
Her the sister, all of them toxic. But you know what made me fall out laughing when she pulled up in the sister house is right next door to the parents.
Yeah.
So she just was another little puppet for her parents
Right.
to
Right.
doing whatever they wanted her
Right.
to do.
Right.
I
Right.
just laughed when
Right.
they mentioned that the sister came out of her
Listen.
house right next door.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The
Sitting on
parent.
the porch watching what's going on. Crazy.
Yes, I'm like,
Crazy.
but I felt
Mhm.
so bad for Janelle when she first moved to get because they were controlling her,
Right. Correct.
coming over to her
Like even
house.
when she lived there, coming to her house, doing her laundry, cooking
Yeah,
her food and stuff. Like, yeah, weird
and
behavior.
they didn't like
Hmm.
that Deja
Yeah.
was showing her, other things that
Right.
is other way,
Right.
and so of course they couldn't stand her. But
Right.
when she moved, and they just cut her off
Right.
totally.
Right.
And that was another form of control. So I felt so
Hmm.
bad for her. And then
Yeah.
her sister doing all these little random text
Right.
messages, I wanted to jump through. I'm telling you, like
Right.
I wanted to hurt her
Right.
for
She
real.
went through it with those people. But I
Yes, she
liked how
did.
Blaze handled it with them. Still tried to be respectful. Um, but yeah, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were crazy. Hmm.
And I loved how him and his family, and
Hmm.
Asia,
Hmm.
they formed, a
Right.
support
Right.
wall around her where, you don't need them. We're your family.
Right.
And
Right.
Deja kept telling her that, I'm your
Right.
sister.
Hmm.
Don't keep letting
Right.
them hurt you like that. And I think
Right.
that's what was keeping her from Blaze too for a while because she
Right.
kept.
Exactly. If my own family can't love me, a man
Mhm.
can't. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
Yeah, it was so.
Yep.
I felt so bad for
Yep.
her. Um, Now Mike and what was
Yeah.
her name? Sheldra,
Ashani.
um,
Ashani.
Ashani, and then the
Hmm.
mother slash
Sheldra.
yeah. The scene
Crazy. The other crazy.
right. The scene with because book one ended like wow with
Right.
Deja and
Right.
Janelle.
Right.
Um, and the scene at the church.
Hmm.
I couldn't believe it with Mike, and I'm like, what kind of demon mama? Talking
Yeah.
about mother from hell. I thought
Right.
Janelle's mother was
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, ma'am. Sheldra had that thing beat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
And Quinn's mother. I'm like, what's up with all
yeah.
the crazy parents in this 'cause
Look, Sheldra, I almost gave her a point of view, but I wanted her voice to still be there, even though I didn't write her point of view,
right.
because she just had a hard life. But
And that
instead
came through.
of,
That came through.
yeah, yeah. And
But
instead of
I have
her,
no compassion for, the way
yeah,
you treated.
towards, yeah, how it ended, no, no
Yeah.
compassion. Especially how she talked about Mike, how she wanted to get rid of
Yes.
him the day she, like she was serious. Like she was so serious.
And
Like,
then talk
girl,
about like she justified
cold hearted.
how he betrayed her
Yeah,
because he wasn't doing
exactly.
what she said. Because he wanted to
Exactly.
better his life and go.
Yeah,
Like
yep.
I ain't never seen nothing like it. But oh my gosh,
Yep.
I thought it was the way Blaze called Janelle's parents to the
Yeah.
hospital. And it gave them his little speech
Speech.
basically.
Yep.
Like you
He
either
wasn't
chill right
playing.
and jump, come up, step up
hmm
to play. And I love how his mother
Yeah.
basically had his back and
Yeah.
mother and father.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh
Yep.
man, this was such a good story. Truly enjoyed it. I can't wait for the sisters. But any more scenes stood out for you, Jennifer, that
Um,
you want to talk about?
well, when Blaze saw Levi for the first time,
Oh
and what
Oh,
yeah.
that was
Levi
good.
said to
Oh
That was a
yeah.
good heartfelt moment
Yeah.
too. And it's the way they just both
They
looked at each
connected.
other and they
mm,
connected. Um and the father
Yeah.
and he
And Levi
'cause
said he was waiting on him. I've been
yeah,
waiting on
he
you.
said,
Yeah.
you got the right one. He
Yep.
said he said they didn't know he grew up with Phoenix. So he said he don't care how big you are, you about to catch him.
Oh,
Oh my
Phoenix,
goodness.
Phoenix. Mm,
Uh
mm, mm.
Tina is saying this sounds like a trip I have to get my hands. Tina, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you are gonna love. You have to check out her catalog. I haven't read the entire like Jennifer has read all of her books, but I was introduced with what's the first book for Gray?
Uncovering love.
uncovering love.
That's what my first introduction. And when I
Mhm.
tell you, you're gonna love that too. Uncovering Love, and then Blue's book,
Blue,
and then Kingston's book,
Pinks,
and then she's working on
August.
August books.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
Yeah.
one you're gonna love, and then check out the other books as well. Ola is also saying sounds good. So yeah, Ola, you'll enjoy it because you get a little bit of you get the romance, you get the mystery, you get the suspense. Even in the other books, there was some
Mhm.
suspense
Right.
element. Yeah.
Right.
So very, very good. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to what you have coming next. And
Thanks.
you have to come back on the show.
I know. Anytime. Anytime. You just let me know. I'm
All
here.
right. I sure will. And I want to thank
And when
everyone. What are you saying, Jennifer?
and when Cheryl said, "Was I busy today?" I said, "No, I'm not busy at all." She said,
Right.
I'm going to interview M Monique." I said, "Yes, yes." I said,
Jennifer
"Yes, I
knows
will
how
be
much I
there."
love her. Like Jennifer is the best. Like I have the support she shows to the industry as a whole
Mhm.
is just phenomenal. Like I make sure I let her know every time I can how much she is appreciated. So she already know how I feel about her. hmm
I agree.
Look, I
Um,
didn't even let the head cold stop me from coming. Cheryl said, "Well, how you feeling?" I said, "I'm
right.
feeling good." I said, "I'm pushing through this." So, because I got to see M Monique today.
Yes, and I knew that. That's
Listen.
why I told her. I said, "You want to co-host? I'm gonna be talking to M Monique." So yeah, I knew.
And I
Um,
hope you feel better. Listen, if one more of my kids get sick, I know something. Okay,
it's so
I
crazy
don't know
weather.
what's in this air.
It's been going up and down and up and down.
hmm
My husband hasn't been not feeling good too. So it's a
hmm
lot of stuff going around, no
It's
matter
just
where
going
you
around.
are.
Yeah.
Antoinette saying that's awesome. And I want to thank everyone in the audience for being so engaged, asking some really good questions for M. Monique. And again, if you have not checked out her catalog, please make sure you check out her books. And definitely check out Steele Waters. And you can stay in touch with her. The information is on the live and it's also in the description. All right. So thank you, everyone. And
Thank you.
thank you, M Monique. Thank you, Jennifer, for co-hosting. And I'll see you next time, everyone. Have a great evening.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.